Should you buy a used Tesla? Well, at the minute, I probably would avoid it because of, you know who. But is the car itself any good? It's 6 years old, it's done 50,000 miles, and today we are going to see what it does 0 to 60, will it do its claim time still, what it does on its 30 to 70 time, what the wear and tear is like on this thing. It is a Tesla at the end of the day, and yeah, 6 years of wear and tear in the UK might have damaged it somewhat. And of course, we are going to see if it's any fun to drive. So let's get into it. My name's Tom, and you are watching Paragon Cars. Let's go. Power and torque figures up first then. This thing has 450 horsepower and 650 newton meters of torque. Being the performance model means you get more power, obviously, but also faster acceleration. So hopefully the 30 to 70 time should be pretty good. But there is only one way to find out. So let's do it now. Oh, and by the way, we are also going to do a 0 to 60 time, so stay tuned for that. Well, yeah, who knew it? Electric cars are fast. We managed a time of 3.11 seconds on the 30 to 70 sprint, and funnily enough, that's right around where a Tesla Model Y performance is. But the Model Y performance is slightly heavier, so the Model 3 performance is slightly faster. But just look at the rest of the chart. I mean, this is as fast as a Stage 2 VW Golf R, faster than a BMW M3 Competition, and faster than a Mercedes C63. It's pretty extraordinary how fast these electric cars are. It's just a shame that they don't have that audible excitement that an ICE car has. Now we know how fast this car is. Obviously it's fast, it's an electric car. Let's have a look at the inside and check out the wear and tear. I'm going to use my Tesla key to unlock the door. That seems to not be working well. Oh, there we go. Maybe it was just me. I'm going to use these absolutely stupid door handles to get into the car. Yes, I still don't like them after 6 years. And let's have a look. Well, annoyingly, apart from the obvious kind of little bit of wear on the steering wheel and those leather seats, there's not really anything else that's kind of falling to bits in here. Being a Tesla, I kind of expected it to be really, really creaky and horrible. This screen still feels solid. Oh, okay. The center console is a bit worse for wear. And do you want to know why I hate piano black plastic? Just look at that. That is caused by someone literally just wiping their hand over it. Piano black plastic is a crappy thing to put in cars. So manufacturers, please just stop using it. As for the rest of the interior, wear and tear is all pretty good, really. The magnets on the sun visors still work. Not really any creaks in the door cards. Windows still go up and down. The only other thing I have noticed is that the door sounds a bit odd, but I don't know if it's just the hinge. Have a listen. See what I mean? It's just a little bit clickety-clackety. Could do with just tightening up, I think. So all in all, I can't really hate it yet, but there's still time. So let's get on the road and see what's what. Here's a good test up first, some speed bumps. See if there's any creaks or rattles in this thing. I am liking the one pedal drive, I can't lie. It does make driving around town just a little bit more luxurious feeling. And that instant torque of an electric car. Round town, honestly, you're never going to beat the smoothness of something like this. A couple of creaks and stuff, but that's coming from rubber seals, so I think a bit of WD-40 might sort that out. But the steering still feels tight. Suspension still feels pretty good, to be honest. Can't really fault it as of yet. What mode are we in? We're in chill. We're going to go for... Actually, let's leave it in chill. Yeah, for town driving, it does just feel pleasant, I would say. Steering has weight to it. I'd kind of describe the steering as like BMW, but not as good. It's kind of the way I would describe it. Just not quite as good as a BMW steering rack. It has that same kind of slight positive turn-in feel, but it's just not quite as dialed in. One thing I do hate, no Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Why? I understand you put a lot of money into developing this system, but basically every other brand has gone to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So I would just follow suit, to be honest. It is just a better system because it is made for every car. This system's fine, it's just, it's the typical speedo there instead of in front of you. I don't know why they didn't put a heads-up display in this thing. It must have literally just been the cost of it. In terms of parking, this thing, honestly, I hate to say it, but there's not many cars that are going to be better than this, because you've got high-def cameras all around, you've got lines telling you where you're going to go, a fast steering rack with just enough angle, and yeah, it's these cameras on the sides. Like, you can get into a space in one go so easily in this thing. And that's it. You don't have to use the brake, you can just come off the throttle and it stops. And then getting out, you can always get to the first notch on the door. Although, having said that, Tesla being Tesla, the first notch getting out of that is not very American sized, I would say. Yeah, you would need to be very, very skinny to get out on the first notch. It kind of needs to be there, but you'd still be able to get out anyway. It's a fundamentally pretty small car in the grand scheme of things. A bit like that C-Class, really. It's just a nice size for city driving. And in all honesty, it just beats internal combustion engine cars so easily when it comes to just pootling around. It's just so smooth, so easy. Then when it comes to getting out of junctions, obviously this is a dual motor car. We've got loads of torque, loads of performance on tap, and it is instant. So you just plant your foot and off you go. Even in chill mode, it feels more than chill, I would say. Still pretty brisk, and definitely enough acceleration to just get you off the line. You're never going to miss a gap in traffic in chill mode. But this is a Tesla Model 3 Performance. We want it in sports mode, and that's where I'm going to leave it for the rest of the review, and I'm going to have my steering in standard. Unfortunately, you can't really turn the traction control off in these unless you're on a track or a road this car doesn't really recognise, which is unfortunate. But supposedly the chassis is pretty oversteery even with the traction control on, so we will see. Now, obviously, in terms of like MPG test, it's an electric car, so we can't really test that. But what I will do is just measure the watt hours per mile, which I will then convert into kilowatt hours per mile, and I'll have to do a voiceover because there is no way I'm doing that mathematics in my head. Not possible, unfortunately. But anyway, round town, it's a fantastic car. It's easy to drive, not really any rattles, and this car is 6 years old. Over bumps, it still feels pretty solid. And then, yeah, there's not a lot to complain about, unfortunately. Even the sound system in these is really good, surprisingly good, actually. I suppose that's one thing that I do actually kind of hate, and that's the indicators. They kind of... So, in a normal car, you'll blip it kind of like halfway, and it'll give you 3 to 5 clicks on the indicator. This doesn't self-cancel until it knows you've changed lanes, but sometimes it'll miss the lane marker and then just leave the indicator on, which is kind of annoying. It's a little bit, or it's trying to be a little bit too clever, I think. And then there's just this. The infotainment is, seat controls on the side of the seat and having a gear selector and an indicator here. Thank God they have that in this car. The new one doesn't have that, and everyone kind of threw their arms up in a huff because it's ridiculous having indicator buttons on the steering wheel. The amount of times I've used it, and yeah, I've gotten used to it in other cars, but it's still just worse. It's a worse system. And going into drive with the screen is just like, when you want to get away quickly, you can get in this and just go like, stalk, down, go, done. You're not waiting for the car to kind of boot up and everything. And then if you want to change where your steering is, you're kind of like going into the control settings and it's like, oh, I'm driving, I can't do that. And you got to fiddle around with this. Even the glove box button is there. Yeah, more physical buttons would definitely not go amiss, I would say. Anyway, enough chitter chatter. Let's get to a roundabout and see if this thing really is a little bit oversteery. Okay then, just in sports, I guess. Not really much else I can do, unfortunately. But, oh yeah, performance is strong. Now, we are only on about 50% battery today, but it's a realistic test, I suppose. You're not always going to be at 100% charge. Right, let's just see what it's like coming around here. So, foot down. Oh yeah, bit of oversteer. That's what we like to see. And yeah, up to 70 miles an hour. No problem at all. But where this car is really quick is that kind of 50 to 70 mile an hour time. So you get to 50 and you just put your foot down and you're at 70 just like that. It's literally like just over a second. And that's where electric cars are, unfortunately, pretty good. They do just go when you want them to. And visibility at the front of this thing is absolutely mega. Absolutely mega. Right then, coming onto the motorway, obviously we've got to test the acceleration on the slip road. I think it might be a little bit quicker than a VW up. What do you think? And then plant your foot. Oh yes, that is plenty quick enough, isn't it? And then once you're on the motorway, let's see if this is still quiet. Now, we do actually have a proper decibel reader. See, this is what I mean. Too much technology. It thinks I'm going to have a crash when I'm just not. Nowhere near anyone. And then it panics you. Anyway, back to the review. We do actually have a decibel reader, a proper one. So I am going to test the decibel level. Now, for reference, a good average is about 72.5 decibels. That's what an Audi S3 Sportback will do. And I would regard that as pretty quiet. You know, not super luxuriously quiet like a 7 Series or an S-Class, but quiet enough that you're not going to get annoyed on a long journey. Anything above that is a little bit loud, in my opinion. Anything above about 73.5 decibels can get a little bit draining on a long drive. Anyway, let's see what watt hours per mile / kilowatt hours per mile we do, and then let's see what that decibel level is. Always love it when people are driving over a road marked with an X. Literally sign right there telling you can't do that. Utter pillock, honestly. Anyway, how did we do in terms of efficiency? Well, we did 299 watt hours per mile, which is this. Woohoo! Anyway, now we need to see how this thing handles. So, we're in sports mode already. Obviously it's fast, but is it super duper oversteery? How tight does the steering feel? Feels a little bit disconnected, which is odd. Brakes, these are the upgraded brakes over the standard long performance, which you definitely need. Don't know if you've ever seen a Car Wow drag race with a Tesla Model S Plaid, but you'll know that the brakes on Teslas are kind of renowned for not being that good. Anyway, let's just gun it out of this corner. Oh yeah, oversteer. And my lord, it's so fast. I mean, it's weird, like in your head, 450 horsepower is like quite a lot of power, but it's not like crazy power. But because it's instant and it's just there all the time, it does feel crazy. It feels more like 650 horsepower. Sound check. Front end though has nice grip to it. You know exactly where the grip is as well. You know exactly where the level of grip is. Really, really cannot fault this thing. Like coming around this corner here, plant your foot. You can't do that in a lot of other cars, to be honest. Annoyingly, it's quite good. It does just feel a bit like a go-kart. But yeah, on faster roads, it's fantastic. But how's it going to deal with some bigger bumps? Well, before we find that out, let's do an 0 to 60. So the claim time is 3.1 to 3.2 seconds, and we did 3.61 seconds. But when you consider this thing was on less than 50% charge at the time, that is pretty good performance. That is Audi RS3 performance on a car that, was not running at full beans. So even though this thing is electric, gotta hand it to it, it is damn fast. Okay, so yeah, it's just a fast car, isn't it, really? A lot faster than quite a lot of other cars. But how does it handle down here? Might be quicker than an M3 on the 30 to 70 time, but annoyingly it's really good already. Obviously you get up to speed nicely, suspension it is really good. How can I fault this thing? It's just the brakes, really. Oh my lord. Yeah, you can go around corners pretty quickly. You do feel the weight though, which is interesting. Okay, can we hit 60 before the corner? Let's go. Oh, that's fast. Yep, I think that's the fastest we've ever hit 60 before the corner. Oh, yeah, it lurches a little bit. That's just an EV thing though, it's the tyres kind of running out of grip, but the visibility is amazing. It means you can really place yourself on the road, and the front end is really nice and tight. You do have to drive it slightly differently compared to other cars, in that you kind of have to trust it in a corner, you kind of have to commit to accelerating, and then it kind of figures out where to send the torque. It's a bit like a Nissan GTR in that regard. But my lord, is it fast. And this bump here, yeah, it deals with it well, to be honest. Little jump. Oh, yeah. Annoyingly, it's a really good handling car. And the thing is, even though it doesn't have an engine, its chassis, it gets very close to making up for the difference. Obviously, I'd still rather this have an engine, but for an EV, it is probably one of the best ones out there. It's just a shame that owning one of these has kind of become a symbol in a way. Thankfully in the UK, we ignore a lot of American politics. But in America, if you own one of these, you're genuinely in danger of getting your car vandalised. And then when you get onto the fact that depreciation is a thing, and my lord, it has affected this car. This car was nearly £60,000 when it was brand new. And I know a lot of people buy them on lease deals and they buy them for their business because it's an EV. But this is now worth just £18,750. And there's no other car out there really for that kind of money that's fairly new, still got a lot of life left in it, can carry the family and their luggage, can charge quickly, do 0 to 60 in just over 3 seconds when it's fully charged, just under 4 seconds when it's less than fully charged, and handle as well as this does. I mean, that's cheaper than my BMW M140i. I paid £23,000 for that car, and this is like £5 grand, nearly £5 grand cheaper. And it's bigger inside. It's got a speaker system that rivals the Harman Kardon system in my car. The only thing that's missing, obviously, is that lovely inline-six engine note. But if you live in a city and do the occasional long journey, I think this is pretty much one of the best cars you can buy, unfortunately. I really want to hate these cars, but like, apart from like the infotainment, which yes, you can get used to, and a couple of the controls, they are genuinely decent cars. And for 18 grand, it's an absolute steal in my eyes. Anyway, as always, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, and you enjoy other content like it, please give us a like, and why not subscribe, as not only can you see more content like this, you can see everything that we have for sale, which obviously includes this Tesla. There'll be a link down in the description for this car, so you can go and check it out. And there'll be a link to our generic website as well, because I know a lot of you probably won't want to even look at this thing. You'd probably walk past it and want to spit on it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the review. My name has been Tom, as always, and you have been watching Paragon Cars. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.